I used to work in pediatrics a lot. And one of the main things I specialized in was called parent-child interaction therapy. And so it's a evidence-based treatment that is focused on enhancing the relationship between the parent and the child to make a more conducive relationship that's going to um, decrease problems, decrease future problems and current problems for the kids, as well as better the relationship with the parents. And right now where it may seem like, your kids are always yelling at you, Mom, how do I do this? Dad, how do I do that? Come help me do this, that. It's easy to just kind of give them what they want real quick and just be the quick term solution. But there's a couple methods that we would always use in our treatment to kind of reinforce good things, and not give in to attention seeking behaviors for kids. One of the most useful things that you can do, and this is for adults too, is praising. Just keep it short and simple. And for them, that's going to reinforce a big, hey, my mom or my dad really was proud of me, or they really liked how I did my assignment. Maybe if I do it again, they'll give me that same praise. And then another thing that we would also utilize is something called actively ignoring things, which you're like, what does that mean? But it's basically you're not rewarding attention-seeking behaviors. So I'll give another example. Say in the morning, you're making your kids breakfast, you're making yourself breakfast, and you're out of their favorite cereal. So instead you give them something else. And they have a tantrum about something. Something that we always utilize in the clinic is actively ignoring those attention-seeking behaviors. As you're ignoring them, you're kind of waiting for a certain response for them to give them the attention, to give them the praise. So one example that I had one time was a kid was asking me for an apple. And he asked me for an apple for an hour and a half. And I didn't have an apple. And so I ignored him the entire time. And eventually, after an hour and a half, he apologized. He said, I'm sorry, I know you don't have an apple. And we kind of talked for a little bit. And when he kind of gave me that good behavior, I rewarded him by saying, it's okay. I praised him for good behavior and stuff like that. And never had an issue with that kid after that again. And so kind of not focus on those attention-seeking behaviors will oftentimes lead to the kid behaving well, being a little bit more independent, and hopefully a less stressful environment.